Our second video explains how the sun has provided for the unbelievable economic boost we got during the past 250 years. You might remember that we are living in that last millisecond of planetary time where we went from mostly being farmers to a world where even in the poorest countries, every second person lives in a city and owns a cell phone. In the US, by the way, every 100 people, including babies, had 118 cell phone subscriptions in 2015. On the way to where we are today, we have forgotten the most important thing our farming ancestors knew. Without energy and natural resources, nothing grows and nothing stays up. Without land, sunlight, water, and nutrients, plants don't grow. Without food, we can't think and work. And without conscious effort, everything we have built turns to dust. We all know how easily things break. So the more we want to build, grow, and maintain, the more energy and natural resources are needed. To build one car, we require a certain amount of energy and materials. To manufacture a second vehicle, it takes roughly twice as many inputs. Over time, we can slowly improve our processes, but even then, the relationship between resource inputs and outputs remains strong. And please don't think that the virtual economy uses less energy. Data centers, servers, and communications equipment might not be visible, but their energy consumption is considerable. If you click the energy widget on our website, you can see how much that amounts to. Here's a little bit of perspective. From 1970 to 2010, the world's economic output more than tripled. During the same period, we also more than tripled the use of natural resources such as oil, coal, cement, steel, and many others. During the same 40 years, energy use increased 2.5-fold, which means that we managed to get a bit more efficient, but only a bit. Before the year 1800, all the energy we used on our planet came from what the sun provided, mostly in the form of photosynthetic plant growth and a tiny bit through sails and wind and water mills harnessing sunlight indirectly. Wood and grasses were our energy sources. Today, the poorest regions of our planet still use them, which is why they are poor. They are spending a large part of their days making sure they have enough food and energy. With the Industrial Revolution, richer humans have created a second, more sophisticated energy system which delivers readily available fuels or electricity whenever we want them. What powers that system of convenient energy? Most importantly, only 4% of its inputs come from current sunlight, a majority from hydropower, and smaller portions from wind, solar, and biofuels. Another 6% comes from nuclear and geothermal. They don't require the sun and are pulled from the ground. But then there is the largest part. Let's call it prehistoric sunlight. Plants that had grown during the past 500 million years were enclosed underground and condensed and cooked to perfection for us to use whenever we like. We call them fossil fuels, or coal, natural gas, and oil. Currently, they contribute an amazing 90% to our energy systems. Not much less than the 95% they did 40 years ago before we began introducing nuclear power, solar, and wind. In absolute terms, the use of coal, oil, and natural gas has almost tripled since 1975. So when we look at what powers societies today and has brought us to where we are, it is sunlight in all its available forms. But first and foremost, prehistoric sunlight that was stored underground and put to use at breathtaking speed since the 18th century. If you assume that it took 500 million years to produce the fossil fuels we can access meaningfully, we are using 4.5 million years of stored historic sunlight every year. Or, differently put, we go through what our planet took a year to prepare within 7 seconds after midnight on January 1. And there isn't even enough left for the lifetime of today's children if we keep using it at the current rate. Please come back to watch our next video to see what happens to our economy when energy and natural resources are becoming harder and harder to extract.